Yo, yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 185. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Brian Manjoma.
I've been thinking about getting a henna tattoo.
Make sure it's blue.
Adam Vale.
Sucker Free Sunday.
And he's back, people. Mr. Brett Murdoch.
What do you mean, you people? Oh, wait.
Oh, man. All right, man. How's everybody doing tonight, man? Brett, tell us a little story. Don't go too long, but why were you gone and what pissed you off today?
Oh, God.
Yeah, let the fans in on this. It'll be funny.
I was at a tattoo convention this weekend. Had a pretty good time. Met some really talented artists. It is a pretty big convention, so we have people coming in from all across the country. So a lot of talent there, not a lot of competition. It's all generally friendly and pretty good. The problem came with whatever amateur dictard asshat they got to judge these fucking competitions. I myself entered and did not win. So I'll start off by saying that to get any bias out of the way. So that being said, even if I was not in the competition, the thing that really pissed me off is, and this happened repeatedly, but the big one was on Friday night, the tattoo of the day. That being said, all the tattoos that were done all day by hundreds of artists who specialize in countless amounts of styles from all over the country got together and got all of their tattoos judged. And the one that walked away was with first place prize was about the size of a palm, and it was a tattoo of a dick and balls. Not like a particularly fancy or amazing dick and balls, just a dick and balls. The novelty of somebody making a famously stupid decision, like that gimmick rode them into first place against people who quite honestly deserve the award infinitely more. And like, again, I'm not even talking about me. I'm talking about some of the people who brought some real fucking talent to this competition. I choose to leave myself out of the equation so I can say unbiased that thing did not deserve to win. It did not deserve to get what it got. It shows an inherent bias on the judges, and it honestly shows a lack of competence that was mirrored through most of the competition, everywhere from they took away our free parking. They didn't give anybody lanyards. You couldn't tell who was an artist. It was just a famous shit show, and the people judging the competition aren't even I'm pretty sure aren't even licensed actual tattoo artists. They're just some random assholes. So the whole thing just it's there are times in which you're like, I feel like this situation or this contest may have had some poor decisions made. And then there are times when you can literally point to a dick and balls and be like, all right, I think we've reached a tipping point. I think we can point to this and matter-of-factly say, this is full-on retarded. Because I'm not the only person there was quite a few people that were upset by that.
It reminds me of The Simpsons, where like Football in the Groin won for best short film. It's like everybody created these masterpieces, and Football in the Groin won.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what happened. And the problem is, these are supposed to be trained professionals putting on a professional conference. That just not only is a slap to the face of the people who spent time and money to get there, but the effort that they took to put forth. Like, why would you even bother taking the time to do a world-class tattoo if you're just going to be mocked and beaten by a literal dick? I mean, it's genuinely and honestly insulting. And to the people who paid hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to be there, and some, like I said, traveled across the country, that's just not cool. Just not cool at all. It is very unprofessional. I hate to fucking get on my high horse, but I've been doing this for long enough that I can actively say, as a 15-year veteran, fucking shame on you. Get your shit together, because this is a mockery and it makes us all look terrible. That's like giving the Eisner Award to a webcomic. It's just,
don't get me started on the Eisner Awards, man. Oh God, some of those winners last year, Jesus,
dude. I know, but like, yeah, like imagine giving the Eisner Award to a fucking cereal box cover or something like that. Just at a certain point, we're like, okay, there's retarded, and then there's this, then there's undeniably retarded. and we hit full retard this weekend.
Man,
No.
sorry to hear that.
Other than that, it was a decent time. I stayed busy, got some supplies, met some cool people, got to do some really good work that I'm honestly quite proud of. And my clients are all happy. Everybody's happy. I just gotta stick up my ass about these guys not knowing they're a good tattoo from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, Barry Burns says nuts to that man.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Also, before we start, just to lighten things up a little bit here, Manny, you found something very interesting in your apartment. This is insane.
Okay, so me and my girlfriend just got back from, just going get out to get something. And we've just been hanging in our office here, which you kind of see a little bit during our show. We're just talking, and we just hear this kind of high pitched noise coming from a corner of the room. And I'm thinking, oh man, we have like a fucking, it sounds like, like a bug or something like that. So I go over there and I look at it, and it's literally a fucking bat. I'm like, oh shit. Like, number one is like, there's no open areas in our house. I mean, we know that we have bats in neighborhood, but yeah, it's just sitting near one of the corners of the room, wailing its head off. So essentially, what I did is I snatched up a bag, like a plastic bag, like garbage, and I kind of coaxed him into there. Hopefully, not the thing not flying or damn around, because those things, have all the kinds of germs and junk on them. Managed to squeeze him inside to get him in, coax him in there, and then just took him outside and. He flew, put him out, and he flew away. Crazy stuff. Like, you never think you're going to see something like that in your place.
Yeah,
so,
man, that's nuts.
Hopefully, I'm going to have to talk to our landlord and be like, "Hey, yo, can we get this place a little bit more airtight, because fucking bats are sneaking in."
You got to get
a cape and cowl.
Yeah, you got to make it bat proof.
I am the night.
Where's the bat repellent, man?
we always, the thing is that we've noticed, like, there's a usual sort of fare of things that get in here, especially if you live on the second floor. And on the East Coast, you get or your good friend the stink beetle, if you guys know what that is.
Oh yeah, I get them from the trees.
You get them from the trees. Yeah. If trees are closer to the house, they kind of come from the trees and they sneak in. They're harmless. They just are incredibly huge, and you don't expect to see those stupid things.
Yep.
So yeah, it just means that there might be gaps in the house that are just incredibly huge, and you get these dumb dopey bugs that get in here. And now we got an even bigger one, a big old bat. It wasn't a big old bat. It was about the size of my fist.
Yeah, that's pretty wild shit, man. But I figured that people will want to hear that story because it's pretty entertaining. You found a bat.
Like of all things, like you just hear this wailing, this high pitched wailing, and you're like, "What the fuck is that?" And I'm looking. It's like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, ain't no bats out here in New York.
Yeah. Like when we moved down to Pennsylvania, there's just been a whole, because one of the things about at least New York City, and a lot of it is just very isolated. So like over there, you don't see a lot of wildlife other than the usual fare. Maybe you'll see like a rat, or you'll see
squirrels.
Yeah, squirrels and pigeons are pretty much it.
Maybe a possum, most pigeons, robins. But the thing is that when you get off the islands, you start to see more things. Like we get rabbits, we get bats, we get foxes, coyotes, all kinds of crazy stuff just walking around in the night.
It's insane, man. All right, so let's move on here. A couple of things before we do get into it. 1,500 subs, people. We did it, man.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys, for listening and subscribing. This is really cool.
Yeah, so keep it going, please. That'd be awesome. And I'm going to say now, even though I don't know when it's going to happen, but when we reach 2,000, which is another milestone, we will give a free game away, like we did when we get 1,000. So, let's keep it going, people.
What if we gave away a console?
Well, that's for 5,000.
Okay, 5,000. Right.
That's for 5,000.
What's the price for 10,000?
Probably another console.
A next gen console.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, if we reach 10,000, sure. Yeah, 5,000 is probably going to be a console of some sort. Definitely 10,000, who knows? But you know, yeah, 2,000 you get another console. You get a game. 5,000 console. We'll see what happens with 10,000. You know, maybe we'll give you a game.
Honestly, it'll probably whatever's hard to get.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, who knows when the hell, you know? But who YouTube?
No, I mean, we don't just go out to the fucking bargain bin or to Walmart or something like that. Like when we do get swag, especially if we go out and get it, we do leverage the connections that we have. So like it'll be a collector's, you know, like it'll be like this themed PlayStation, this kind of Xbox, or you know, a collector's edition of this, or
Labo,
you know, a gold copy
Labo,
of that. Or,
you know, you're right about
like,
that.
We ain't gonna disappoint you. We ain't just gonna give you some run of the mill, off the shelf shit. We'll do you guys right.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I'm gonna say this now at this point of the show. I'm gonna say it again at the end of the show, and I'm also gonna say it again during Throwdown on this Thursday. For next week's episode of Throwdown Your Questions, which is episode 186, we need you to ask us specifically E3 questions. E3 questions, all right? So just keep that in mind for next week. Don't ask us any random stuff. No evergreen questions. They need to be about E3 because that's going to be the pre-E3 Throwdown Your Questions show. And also, we will not have Throwdown Your Questions during E3, but we're going to have something else instead, and we're going to cover that probably at the end of this show. But with all that said, let's move on, man. So first question, and this one I actually missed last week, so we're going to cover it right now. This is from Annihilator 83, and he goes, do you see any differences with the Xbox community and the PlayStation community? If so, what are they? This is going to be fun.
That sounds like such a beta sort of question.
I have my answers. I
don't see any difference.
Really? Okay.
What?
I think it depends on what groups and channels you're surfing on. I mean, if you're in a chat room and it's a bunch of young kids just talking to you, I told you we're better than you, we sold more units, then you're going to get the pricks. So it all depends on where you're hanging out.
All right, let me actually give the answer now. So this was going, okay, let's start with the Xbox community because this is the easiest one, right? They're very reactionary, right? They're very like crybaby-ish in their response. They're looking for things to be offended about, and they do get offended about everything. And they also have like a certain they feel very insecure about. It seems like they're very insecure with their purchases, so they need to lash out. They're constantly calling everybody bias and shit. We have very insecure community, very crybaby-ish community. But they also purposely look for things to be offended over.
People, then?
You got to go on Twitter, bro.
And they're not playing games.
Yeah, that's that. You know, we'll come back around because you know there's something else. And then with the play, actually, Manny, you said you wanted to say something about the Xbox size. So I got a breakdown.
I was going to say, I mean, you know, we don't want to incriminate every single, because that just sounds like you're incriminating every single Xbox fan.
No.
I'm not really throwing my hat with Tony on that.
Let's back it up.
Whoa.
We're talking
one at a time.
It's the war zone.
Yeah, one at a time. Preface it. We're talking about fanboys right now. Fanboys. We're not talking about the fans. We're the fans. Both fans are PlayStation and Xbox are cool. We're talking about the fanboys here.
Did you ask about the community?
Yeah, we're assuming it's the fanboy communities here. You know, so let's just keep it simple here.
No, there's a difference, man.
Well, no, we're gonna get to that. We're talking about the fanboy communities right now. We're gonna get to the fan communities. Period. Right? Okay. So PlayStation fanboy communities, they're trolls. That's what they love. These guys love memes. They love to make fun of Xbox. They love to boast about how many units the PlayStation sold. Very trollish people. They'll do memes all day, every day. That's the biggest thing I noticed with them. It's like the PlayStation guys are trolls, and the Xbox fanboys, they're crybabies. All right.
Can I also add weeaboo?
PlayStation guys are kind of weeaboo a little bit. There's a little bit of that.
Would you go the very center of the darkest corners of the PlayStation forest are made up of weeaboos. When PlayStation is on the losing side, and that's one thing you guys have to remember, Microsoft's on the losing side right now. So we're only seeing how one side is acting when they're losing. When Sony's losing, their fanboys, their true hardcore fanboys, do tend to be a little weeaboo-y.
Here's the thing, though. When the PlayStation guys were losing last generation, they were acting like the Xbox guys. Now, the Xbox fanboys now.
There was a difference, though. There was a subtle difference, but it was mostly the same.
I mean, the meme, I mean, it wasn't called a meme back last gen, but remember there was a whole thing with PlayStation has no games.
Yeah, exactly.
The first part of the generation.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I you're right. roles have kind of been reversed, but there was no memeing going on back when the Xbox guys. Obviously, the Xbox guys, fanboys, they boasted about the 360 and all that, Xbox Live, but there was no memeing because memes weren't really a thing back then. I'm pretty sure they would have been memeing themselves too. You know what I'm saying?
Because remember, like last gen, like there were freaking songs made about the Red Ring of Death. You know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The Ring of Fire cover, just based it on the Ring of Death, and then like the whole PlayStation, the PS3 has no games, and like those were the two biggest like sort of battle cries of the fanboy community.
Yeah, but so those are the main differences I noticed.
Well, there was also the superiority of the cell processor,
of course.
Which, let's be honest, the Sony guys were like, "We have a secret sauce."
Yeah, I find it interesting how this generation everything's flipped. Everything's flipped from the sales to the fanboys. You know,
like the cell processor is the equivalent of the Xbox One X.
Yeah,
like, the Xbox fanboys were doing what the PS3 fanboys were doing last gen.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're getting to a point here that fanboys on both sides are fucking stupid. You know, let's just be real here. They're both fucking dumb.
Fanboys will always argue about brand loyalty. It's the same way. Like you want to start a fight. Show up to a Star Wars showing and tell them Star Trek sucks and watch chaos ensue.
Yeah. But to get to the actually, let's run down the fanboys first, and then we're talking about the fan community. So I do have an actual answer for that too. Manny, what do you notice the differences are? Fanboys.
Fanboys. I mean, it's pretty much what you said. It's just like, a lot of the Xbox fanboys tend to be grasping at straws for anything, and they seem to be complaining more than they're actually playing the games that they're coming out as. Like, like, hey, how come everybody's not supporting this? Like, well, this game is, like they're not. I mean, but the thing is that also at the same time, you can't expect everybody to like everything that's being put out. For the PlayStation community, I do see it is a bit trolly. It's like I win and you not, but it doesn't. But to be honest, it just doesn't seem as loud to me.
The PlayStation guys, right?
The PlayStation.
Yeah, I agree.
It's usually kind of like shivs. Like it's not like they're announcing everybody that it just seems like they're like attack. Just like little pokes, like ha ha, like that sort of shit. Like I don't know, but it's a very weird sort of culture, I would say. Yeah,
like for example, and I'm talking about when I have conversations with my other gaming peers from other websites about like fanboy communities, we don't really talk about the PlayStation guys because they don't really come at the media too much, but everybody has stories about the guys with the purple M coming at them. Every one of us have those stories.
That's because Xbox fans. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Fanboys.
Can it be my turn?
Yeah, go ahead, man. You jump in.
I think its reason is because Xbox fans, including fanboys, but altogether, have always been more vocal, and that means that Xbox fanboys are also more vocal. I personally think the difference is, and one's not better than the other. PlayStation or Xbox fans are just more aggressive / assertive, and I mean that in the most neutral way possible. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. They're really good at making their voices known and forcing companies to do what they want, but they're also known for just pitching a bitch fest. And that comes across in their defense of their system. They're very aggressive about how they defend their system. PlayStation fans, in my opinion, have always kind of had this air of superiority. They're like the friend who just got the newest upgraded PC and like, oh, you're still using a TI-86. That's cute. And you're like, dude, this shit is like 4 months old. And they're like, yeah, I know. I'm just saying. You can't pump out 4K. Like, there's 2 games that run 4K. Like, that guy, everybody knows that guy. And that essentially is how I view a lot the PlayStation community. So they're definitely, they can be smug assholes. They don't feel the need to like post 12 posts about it. They'll just be like, whatever, mine's better, and walk away like a smug asshole. Whereas the Xbox guys will sit there just repeatedly like, no, fuck you, mine is better. So that's where the difference in voices come from. Not really sure where that comes from, and it's weird because I feel that particular aspect has persisted from last generation through this generation. And it was like last generation seemed like, well, we have the cell processor, which is technically stronger. It's just an issue of learning how to pipe it, and that's the issues of the developers. Like, lay the blame at the developers' feet. claimed superior technology, even though they made it so. Yes, it was superior technology, but it was so ass backwards and hard to get to that nobody could utilize it correctly for fucking ever. But you just laid that at the feet of everybody else. So, but this generation, they have the numbers, but the technology isn't superior. So like they're kind of goalpost moving. Like, oh well, this is the superior system because it's got higher fidelity graphics. And the second it doesn't have higher fidelity graphics, it's this is a superior system because it has a better network base. Like, wasn't that what Microsoft was saying last year? Like, so it seems like, yeah, Microsoft fanboys, aggressive and defensive, Sony fanboys, haughty, arrogant dictards.
Chris, get in here, man.
I mean, I agree with you on the levels of fanboys. Obviously, the particularly Sony and Microsoft are in completely different positions in terms of the PlayStation Xbox divisions. Where Microsoft, I went over this with the financial report, and then people have asked me on Twitter, sales have been stagnant. Xbox One didn't move the needle. They're mostly getting their revenue from Xbox Live subscriptions and they have a low amount of hardware sales and low amount of software sales. There isn't really much hardware to speak of. So those ardent and hardcore fanboys are obviously more angry, and they show it online. They get very defensive and whatnot. And the Sony fanboys, like, I'm not saying that they're any better, but PlayStation is in the optimal position of the big three, so they are acting, as Brett said, like a spoiled rich kid, so they just meme and whatever, but they're in a position to do that. Unfortunately, that's not like the right thing to do. They just do it, and it's kind of dickish. And then, like, I mean, I don't need to even describe. I know it's not in the question, Nintendo fanboys. I mean, you saw what happened to Tony and his freelance.
You know,
you talk about like a toxic fan base. You mess with Nintendo zealots, they're fucking insane.
Nintendo fanboy. I'm pretty sure all Nintendo fanboys are homeschooled kids.
Yeah, but oh, man, we're not going to talk about Nintendo fanboys unless we're asked about them. All right, Brian, get in here, man. What do you think about the fanboy communities of each of these companies?
I think you guys pretty much hit it on the head. I don't interact with any of them because I'm not like that. So to me, both are equally as terrible, and I don't see the difference. I'm too far away.
Are we going to say anything about the PC Master Race community?
Well, no, the question was not about them.
Is only asking about
yeah.
I know.
Brett,
I just
no, because we we're gonna be here all night, man.
No, if Chris is not allowed to talk about Nintendo, guys, you aren't allowed to talk about.
Yeah. That wasn't the question, guys. We got to stay focused here. Carlos, anything to add to this?
Nope, pretty much said everything.
All right, so let's actually, Adam,
Well,
do you have anything? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Go for it.
I think it's fucking pointless because obviously, I think besides Carlos, I'm the only person into sports here. And as someone who used to constantly go to soccer games and see feuds and see fights break out with the other team's super fans, this is just the norm. Whenever there's a group passionate about something, you're going to get people that just get too far into it. And they get over passionate, and then that passion comes out either in violence or it lashes out online. We see it all the times with teams when they trade players, and then one team in the local area, like let's say the Mets and the Yankees, oh, you guys suck, your Burrow sucked, fuck you, you don't know nothing. And then they get a better player, then they beat them in the Subway Series. This is just the way it is. So I don't understand why we're even bringing this shit up. It'll always happen, whether next go around Xbox is better, or then the PS4, or then Turbo Graphics comes back out with some shit. You know what I mean? This is a pointless argument. It's always going to be toxic on all ends because people have passion. Whenever you're really passionate about something, shit like this happens. So I don't understand the argument here.
Yeah, well, we're not arguing. We're just answering this man's question.
I don't think there's any argument.
There's no argument here. Okay, let's get to the second part of it. The fan community. There's no fanboys. These are just regular people that regular gamers, right? What's the difference? The difference is actually pretty clear. Xbox fans they're very competitive, right? They like their competitive games. They like their multiplayer shooters. They like that stuff. They like interacting with each other, and building communities off that. PlayStation guys, they're really more into like story-based games. A lot of Japanese games. They like that stuff. They like the big budget AAA games. That's the main difference I see between the fans and those communities.
I would almost just say that Xbox fans are more social in general. Not like in the world outside the video game kind of thing, but like Xbox kind of as a brand is more socially engaging, more getting you to play with other players, whereas Sony's like sit around by yourself and listen to this story.
And it even goes with the leadership there. They engage with their fans more. Sony doesn't really do that, you know.
No,
Yeah.
there's
Xbox guys are more willing to talk to other gamers and stuff, you know.
Dude, nobody talks like even like I'm playing Conan right now, and Conan has VoIP. For those of you that don't know, VoIP is basically just audio chat always turned on, so you don't have to be in a party with somebody. You can just walk up and start talking to them. Still on PlayStation. Nobody ever talks to anybody else on PlayStation. It's just become this weird cultural thing amongst PlayStation users. Like we'll party up, but you never just talk to somebody else at a video game. You don't just run up to somebody and be like, "Hey man, what's your tag? Let me invite you to a party so we can chat." Like Xbox fans will they'll just talk to each other. Like one of the things in the Sea of Thieves, they have VoIP. Like people just jump on your ship and fucking start talking. Be like, "Hey man, what are you up to?" Like, as a PlayStation fan, I feel weird about this. Or as a PlayStation owner, I feel a little weird about this because, you know, if you jump into a party and anything on PlayStation, like out of 6 guys, 1 guy will have his microphone turned on. There's an 80% chance he's either a stoner or there's a baby crying in the background.
Yes. Some annoying music playing in the background, you know.
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like
There's
that.
like an 80% chance you're just gonna mute that fucktard.
Yes.
I also feel like, you know, it also depends on the actual sort of game. You know, I personally cannot play any of those sort of story driven games while
Destiny,
talking to people.
Strangers in Destiny don't talk on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to talk to raid in those kinds of games.
But don't people mostly kind of team up with their buddies?
Not on Xbox. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's a PlayStation thing.
Xbox,
PlayStation idea, like, oh, I need to wait for my friends to get online so I can do this. It's an Xbox idea, like, oh, there'll be somebody online doing it. I'll talk to them.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Xbox community is a lot more.
They're more social.
A lot more social when it comes to connecting with each other. But I think that is also that is where that kind of came from. I mean, it's almost like a little bit of, it's definitely a holdover from PC games, which used to have it open like that as well. I do think that, yeah, like PlayStation guys are just not, they're not, it's like you kind of want to, you kind of don't want to stick, you kind of want to just stick with your buddies if you are talking to anybody. And to be honest, as a person who's played a lot more PlayStation consoles than I have Xbox consoles, I kind of don't like talking to other people when, you know, talking to strangers, especially with the experiences that I've had in online communities where you have a lot of people that are just kind of fucktards. You know, you have these 4-year-old kids somehow got, you know, their daddy and mommy bought them the fucking new Call of Duty game or whatever multiplayer game, and they're just saying fuck this, fuck that. I don't want to deal with that. But that's just me.
Yeah. Anybody else with the differences between the fans of the communities? Remember, fans just regular people now, not fanboys.
Well, I think that the culture that these systems come from explains somewhat why the interactions between players is the way it is how it is. Because with Sony, and especially Japanese companies, it seems like networking, online gaming, multiplayer, whatever, is an afterthought, right? It always seemed that way to me. And look at PS3 and how chat was done. It was done like so sloppy. Mails, like they had no idea how to put together like a simple instant messaging thing or whatever. The protocols for chat all had to be independently done by the game developers and whatnot. Meanwhile, Microsoft had all those APIs out. Bungie added some, and they took those and they integrated it into Xbox and made it a part of the experience, right? Because here in Western culture, all just social, you know, just like go up to someone in a bar, or some shit's talking to people. So that's how we are with like Eastern culture is more insular, right? Especially Japanese culture, so they don't like that. And I think that attracted those type of players, especially here, right? Oh, you know, I just play by myself story. So all those type of players went to those respective communities because they agreed with him, right? It was like, I'm introverted, so I'm going towards PlayStation. You're extroverted, you go towards Xbox, right? And that kind of compounded the culture until we have what we have now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I was just thinking that too. I was like, Xbox, more extroverted gamers, PlayStation, more introverted gamers. That's a good way of putting it.
Well, we've raised an entire generation almost. I mean, not an actual generation, but think about it. If you're on PlayStation and you jump into a voice chat and you try and talk, 5 people don't talk back to you. Eventually, you stop talking to people,
Yeah.
and that becomes normal. And if somebody does talk, it seems a little weird. You don't talk to them, and the cycle continues. And then just the opposite in Microsoft. If you're the only guy, be like, dude, why isn't gamertag197 saying anything, dude? Like we're at the spawn point camping or doing this, or we're capturing their flag. Where are you? Like, do you not have a microphone? One came with the fucking console. Put it on, or we're gonna lose. Like they will actually, like, there is shit talking, but there is actual weird, like, human engagement. Like, yo, dude, you need to put on your headset. You need to. Do you not have voice? Like, they're almost incredulous if you don't use a microphone. And I think the reason is they're like, dude, I know you got a headset.
Yeah, but it attracted those type of players. Like I played on both. Like I used to play years online all the time. And you jump online and you hear somebody like squad up, here say this, blah blah blah, and then you go on your teams or whatever. It's better when you play with friends and stuff, so you understand what you're doing. But when you playing with strangers, you got to know what this motherfucker is thinking. You're going in a squad with them, right? So you got to be talking, right? You can't do that. Like, so you got a guy on PlayStation who doesn't talk to people going in there. He's gonna be, I don't want to talk to anybody. Well, now the squad is all fucked up.
And now we lose.
You just kicked them out.
You kicked. Yeah, you kicked.
Yeah, they get kicked out. Adam, I want your thoughts because you were an Xbox guy for a long time, and now you switched over to PlayStation. So, what do you notice is the biggest difference between the Xbox, community and the PlayStation community?
Well, sort of like what Brett said. I mean, I agree. They're quiet on PlayStation, especially when the Call of Duty and other squad-based games that I'll play, like Team Deathmatch stuff. Like, yo, all right, listen, we're gonna go here, we're gonna flank, and it's like crickets, And then if I do get somebody who talks, they send me a friend request because they're like, oh shit, you actually talk. All right, that was the same thing with the Division. And I get it with the Division, you got the emotes, you can make little gestures and stuff when you're in the dark zone, that's cool. But as soon as we found somebody else with a headset, it's like, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, next obviously a friend request pop up. It's like, oh shit, this guy's a mic. So yeah, but on Xbox, I guess because we had Xbox Live for such a long time. So you got used to it. You just got into that whole mindset of like, wow, when I jump on, I have to have my headset on to interact. And then you get comfortable because it's one of those things. It's just like somebody coming on a podcast for the first time or doing anything. They're nervous because it's different. And like, wow, people listening. Then after a while, you don't give a shit. You're comfortable because it's like talking to your buddies. And that's the way people start feeling when they jump in. Just like chat rooms. Remember back in the day with chat rooms? Some people get real nervous. They're like, a male 18. And, and then next there's people just flying in there chatting. Hey, what's up? What are you into? What are you doing? So it's one of those comfort things, but for some reason that never really kicked off. And here we are, PS4, and it's still crickets in a lot of these rooms where it requires.
If you think about it, it's a very old school way of kind of gaming. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, like back in the day, there was, at least for console games, there wasn't really that much interaction. I mean, if you had maybe a couple of folks over, or you had your best friend or family or something, that's pretty much the only interaction that you really had. Maybe you call somebody on the phone and be like, yo, I'm at this level where the guy jumped down in the row and it's like that. Other than that, it's something else.
Well, I mean, you could also talk about arcade games too. That you did interact with people in those.
You did interact, but I mean,
but it's very limited. I remember just a guy coming over, putting a quarter up on the screen.
It's like, I'm next.
Sometimes he wouldn't even talk. It was
that's right. Yeah,
English, so.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right, man. All right. Any last things before we move on? Because we do have a bunch of questions tonight.
I think that was a good answer.
Yeah, that was good. All right, move on here. So we got 2 questions here from Mr. Gary Swabe. So his first question is, what are some things you do in preparation for E3 every year, whether you're attending or not? He goes, examples are getting in shape, planning days ahead, telling your wife you're going to be SAT at the computer for hours, or you're going to be sitting at the computer for hours, etc. So we're going to break this down into 2 categories. We're going to break it down to the guys who don't, it's normally attend E3 and the guys who do attend E3. So let's start with the guys who don't attend E3. What do you do to prepare for the big show? Let's start with Carlos.
Well, this year is going to be a lot different.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, but I mean, like last couple of years, I just don't really prepare. I just wait for the press conferences to show up and watch and check out all the coverage from people that I know they're doing stuff over there. So yeah, this year it's going to be a lot different. We're going to be streaming all the well, not all the press conferences, most of the press conferences, at least 6, I think, and yeah, so we'll be preparing that for everyone to watch.
Awesome. Adam, do you do any E3 preparations?
No need, because for what I do at my job, I sit at my computer and I'm allowed to have it running in the background. So I just put it on and listen to it, and I have a chat with all my other coworkers, and they're doing all the same shit, and we have it in another window, and I have dual monitors at work, so I'll put it on like my right monitor in the lower window and just listen
Which
to
ones
it.
are the ones that are usually like during work hours? Like Nintendo is always during that time.
Oh, what's the Friday ones? Friday ones. I think was it Microsoft used to do the Friday
No,
ones?
I don't know
Which one
about
was
now.
the Friday ones? Because I remember it was like a Friday afternoon. Because I usually wound up watching that one. It's like 1 or 2 o'clock my time.
Not in recent memory that they've had. Fridays is usually nothing actually.
What's happening now then? This Friday?
Nothing.
The next Friday that comes. Because then they move a day.
No, well, EA's doing their shit on Saturday, but nothing ever happens on Friday. The only thing you might be talking about is the stuff they used to do on
G.
On G
is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the key they've never done a keynote on a Friday, never.
Damn, what the hell I'm watching, man?
You're probably watching the G4 stuff. They used to do stuff on Friday,
Yeah, they used to do little lead ups like, "Hey, what do you think is going to happen at E3?"
G4, that's years ago. G4's not around anymore.
No, but that's what they used to. I'm guessing that's because nothing ever happens on Friday. Nothing ever happens on Friday.
I watched something recently when I was watching, because I remember watching The Division, the unveiling. I was at work.
It was probably on a Monday, dude.
That's on, whenever they do.
There you go, Monday. Okay, so
the
then
press,
I
all
just
the
knew it was during the day.
Usually, all the press conferences are on Monday.
Yeah, usually. Back in the day, all of them used to be on Monday.
Okay, so
all of them used to be on Monday. Yeah.
Microsoft was on Monday, like maybe 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, even when we started going to E3, all of the big conferences were all on Monday.
Everything was all squeezed into Monday.
Yes,
and Microsoft was always the first.
Yes,
yeah, because Sony was always at the afternoon.
That's right.
Sony was in the evening.
This is how it typically used to be. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Microsoft, I know for this for a fact, Microsoft was the beginning, Sony was the end. And after Microsoft was EA, then Ubisoft. And then then Sony at the end.
Yeah, because then I remember by the time I got home, the Sony one I can watch.
Yeah.
That's right.
But all the other ones I had during the day, and I remember that.
Yeah, it was on Monday, Adam, not Friday, Monday.
All right, so there you go.
Yeah. Brett, pre-E3 preparations.
Nothing. I'm always working.
All right. I'm gonna do a little bit of a segue because I'm
always angry.
I'm gonna do a segue. This is what I used to do before. I used to go to E3. Yeah, I knew what was happening, so I would kind of make sure my whole week was just set. Because I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just watching E3. Because this was back in G4 days, right? D4 used to show that shit all the time. Not only would they show games, they would show like demos and stuff, right? But the thing is, you didn't need to cut off any social engagement because all your other buddies were watching E3 too. Like Manny and I would talk to each other between commercial breaks or whatever when G4 was showing up. But but you knew for that week you weren't doing shit. And if a new game dropped like a couple days before, they like, I'm not playing any games this week. Nothing but E3 the whole fucking week.
Oh, wait. I did take off one day. That's right. It was a Monday. I did take off when they announced for the Xbox One.
Interesting.
That I did take off because I just wanted to hear everything. That was
We actually have a question related to that later on. That's cool though. Yeah, because that did happen in the afternoon too, Adam. All right. So basically nowadays, it's very different situation. Basically, by the time I get to E3, I'm already kind of tired of E3 because I've been planning for it for about a month. Like you get the emails, you make your appointments and stuff. Obviously, you prepare what clothes you're gonna bring and stuff. Usual flight shit, hotel flights, all that nonsense. But a lot of it is really getting the emails, prioritizing what appointments you're gonna get and stuff. And then, you know, when you get there, even though you have a set schedule, you also have to be prepared to change shit on the fly if you need to, you know. But preparing for E3, you know, flight wise is the same as you would for like vacation. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of become second nature now. It's not really even a big deal. You know, the first year was a big deal because I've never flown to, you know, Los Angeles or even the West Coast, but now it's kind of just standard shit. You know, you get your invite, your media invite, you register. Get your flight, get your hotel the month beforehand. You get your emails set up, you know, set up the schedules. And then you also kind of mentally prepare, like, okay, what times during these days can I actually write about this shit? For me, I usually just write in the hotel that night, you know, because I can't really do it during the day. I used to be able to do it during the day, but now I can't do it because there's only maybe 30 minutes in between every appointment now, you know, so I just save that. And the thing is, okay, my editors are here in New York, right? By the time I'm like finished there at 3 or 4 o'clock, it's already 7 o'clock here, so it doesn't even like it doesn't make any sense for me to like go crazy to write that shit on the spot where I could just do it in my hotel later, you know, and they could just edit it in the morning, you know. Manny, what do you do to prepare for E3?
Beforehand, I mean, it was, you know, we used to watch it on G4 or, you know, watch the you know, they didn't officially in those days, like I don't remember them doing too many of those broadcasts online. Like back in the day, I think the only real connection that you had that was actually the video game channels. And then later on, when you did it online, you know, essentially I would watch it when I used to work in an office on my screen. Later on, you know, when we started working with Torrents and STFU and Play, that's when we you know, actually went to the show. And I mean, for me, it wasn't that big of a deal for the thing, you know, like to go there, other than LA kind of being, you know, I just noticed this being from New York and coming into other states, you realize that a lot of other states just kind of are like not expedient.
Yes.
Like everybody's kind of like stuff, everybody takes their time. Like, you know, I'm so used to, you know, go, let's do this. We got to get this, and we get it done. This is like, all right, man, we'll get it done. Yeah.
Slow
and
motherfuckers.
It seems like a lot of other states tend to be that sort of way, where it's like it's not
like rush. Yeah. No, I get that.
So, but yeah, like that's the only thing that I really found the difference with when you go there. And then, yes, the usual thing, you know, you go when you first thing you get to the convention center, you go, you know, first, you know, we used to come in on the weekend. So Sunday. So you could go over into the convention center. That was like our second or first stop, depending on how far our hotel was there. We go there, we literally, you know, pick up all of our information, all the different things that we've got to go to, and you know, pick up your badge and all that other stuff, and then that's about it. You know, maybe take a couple of photos, and then that's how we did it. And then as of late, maybe the last
2 years now. 5
years? Wait, no, because the last time I went when I was connected to a site was 2014.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So for you, it's been the last 4 years.
For the last 4 years, I have been getting in another way, where I know some people in the industry who helped me get into the show and, you know, do all that fun stuff. So I'm actually kind of a little bit free, where I can kind of, you know, take my time and somewhat enjoy the show. I can, you know, sometimes I'll, you know, try to take some photos for our buddies at the coalition, or, you know, if Tony needs anything for his site, or, you know, if he needs to bump anything, or I'll just take some photos just for, if you notice, every single year we have the front of the E3 convention, you know, the LA Convention Center, which I take a photo almost every single time, you know, to just so that we, you know, have a little, you know, cool featured image.
Yeah, quick thing, I need to just jump in, just so you guys, in case you didn't know, all those pictures that we take for E3 each year, those are not stock photos. Those are ones we take ourselves.
Yeah, we take I take them every single time that we go there. Like sometimes it's at different times of day, just so we have a little bit of choices and all the different advertisements. I try to get as many booth pictures as possible, but very difficult to take photos with low light conditions. I don't have a super lens like Torrance does, or any of the other guys, like the other folks out there. So I try to take the best photos I can, and we can use them, or anybody else, and we know you can use them for whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I just kind of walk around and see what hits me. Last year was the first time I kind of really didn't play anything on the show floor. I only played a couple of things because it was just so crowded. So hopefully this year will be a little bit different. But here's the other catch to all of this. I may not have, I don't know what kind of badge I have. I don't know if I have an industry. I think I have an industry badge, which means I might be able to be in there a little earlier. But if I don't, that means I'll just be coming in with everybody else. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what about you?
Well, when I went, the main things is like you said, like you prepare for a vacation, your flights and stuff. You're sending out emails all the time to make appointments, try and get your schedule together, put on your calendar, and then see how much time you have in between. And I would try to prepare templates so I could go in the press room and quickly write up something. Sometimes you don't have any time, like the convention center is so big, so you're running from one end to the other, especially if you're not on the same side near the press room. Like, you don't have any time to run back. And if you get press kits with tons of photos, then you have to deal with them, right? So the best thing to do is to have some writing templates so you can churn out content quickly. I would also bring a camera with me, same as Manny, take pictures so you can have some good shots. Always important, like always be on time for your appointments. Like, even if they're running around, always be cordial. Always take, who you're talking to information, remember names, and network with these people later so that you can get info and stuff. So and then that's always good. And then you get press kits and whatnot, and you can put together your opinions and articles and whatnot. And that's pretty much it. Like, also eat, because like you're running around all freaking day.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, you might forget to eat or drink something. You don't want to be in that convention center and just like freaking crash. So go, like, to find some time in between all that bullshit, and there's like commissaries and stuff. Just go get some like a hot dog or some shit, or soda, and so you can handle the pacing through the day.
Oh shit! I don't think I made enough time for eat during the day at the convention center this year. Fuck,
dude. You know what?
You bring in food or anything?
Yeah, I can bring in food. That's not a problem.
You can bring in food.
Yeah, I just realized, like, I'm like, oh shit.
They have a couple of different places in there.
Yeah. No, because the thing is, like, you usually have to be on those lines for a little while. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Because the thing is, usually I only eat maybe twice a day because I kind of can't. I like breakfast, and then after the show is over that particular day, we hit up like Smash Burger or something, All right, cool, man. All right, let's move on here. His next question, this one's interesting. Okay, do people only view Metal Gear Solid 2 as the worst in the series because of Raiden, or are there other valid reasons for it being ranked so low in the series? And he says, it's probably my favorite next to Metal Gear Solid 3. And Gary actually writes favorite with a U in there since he's British. It's pretty funny. Yeah, Manny, go ahead, man.
I would say it's not. I think it's a lot of it is just because of Raiden. And I think it's also because of the kind of kooky sort of story that that Kojima's kind of created for it. It does have a very much of a straightforward story, but there's all these kind of twists and turns, and I feel like a lot of that, like, there's a lot of information dump literally at the end of the game. Like, you get everything, and it even contradicts itself too. You know what I mean? Like, 1 minute they say it's one thing, and then the next minute, like, after you have actually fight the final boss, you get another explanation. So it's like, okay, so what is this? But I think the main reason why the game has is gotten what it has, because I've always said that the game is a very good game. It's a very well done game. The problem is just Raiden in general. The character of Raiden is kind of not very good of not a very interesting sort of character.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just felt betrayed because they wanted to play as Snake the entire time.
They wanted, people want, I mean, I felt it too at the same time. It's like, here's a funny thing about it, Gary. I played that game, Metal Gear Solid 2, the most out of every single Metal Gear game. which is kind of hilarious.
Why was everybody so attached to Solid Snake after the first game? Is the thing I didn't like. I enjoyed the first game. When I went to the second one, I was like, "Oh, cool, you're right." Like he was in the first game. Like,
but you started off as Snake.
You started off as Snake, and there's also a big old bait and switch that happens in the game too, where it's like, you go in, you play an intro log, epilogue, and then later on they kind of try to trick you into thinking that the new guy is Snake, and it's not.
Well, there was that. I will give you that, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it from the context of when I played it the first time, because Raiden's character, and I don't really like the direction that he went as much as the direction I thought he originally was. Like, he was originally like, oh, just sweet cyber ninja, sweet camouflage cyber ninja.
No, he was never a sweet camouflage cyber ninja.
Am I thinking of the wrong character?
You're thinking about Gray Fox, the actual ninja.
Yeah, you don't play him at all.
You never really
Raiden becomes a cyborg ninja later.
He becomes a cyborg ninja, not in
that's 4. Yeah,
not
that's 4.
in this game.
Okay.
But here's the goofy thing, and this is the way I look at it. You could actually kind of switch if you wanted to. You could actually switch a lot of the storyline to be a Snake-centric story, and it would not affect most of the events and things the way the game would have been. With the game, what happens in the game is not totally dependent on you playing Raiden.
I just don't remember being that jarred by it.
And I think a lot of the other problem is just a lot of Raiden's isms is just like he's got a little bit more baggage than Snake does. So I just feel like he was just not an interesting enough character. He was like we know what he was supposed to be. He's supposed to be us. We are him and he is us. He's the guy who's obsessed with the legend of Solid Snake. He loves Solid Snake. He's a big fan of Solid Snake.
Yeah, it's a very subversive game. The funny thing is, a lot of people don't complain about that part. The aspect, the part, basically the game is saying like, yeah, all that stuff you like is kind of bullshit. This is new, whatever. It was very subversive type of game. By the way, for me, I was never bothered by the Raiden thing. I actually really liked Metal Gear Solid 2. I thought it was a very heady game, and I love the fact that the game actually proved to be extremely prophetic in recent years. Like, you go back, like during that ending stuff, like all that shit that fake Colonel Campbell's telling you about how the internet is going to become this place where a bunch of crazy ideas get tossed out there and the truth is lost in the muck. And it's like, this shit is actually really happening now.
Essentially, what the Arsenal Gear was going to do was going to create context from all the chaos that supposedly was all over all the junk data that's in the internet. But who's to say what is the truth? And it officially, Arsenal Gear wouldn't be choosing what the truth is. It would just be choosing one that would make them essentially push their agendas forward, which is very interesting. But yeah, I never had a problem with the actual gameplay or the events in Metal Gear. I just really did not care for the character of Raiden very much.
Anyone think Kojima's like psychic or something?
Yeah,
I think he was just looking at what the world was already doing in the 2000s.
Well, think about this. Where did Arsenal Gear crash into?
It crashed into downtown Manhattan. And
when did it crash into downtown? What happened?
Yeah,
when that game was supposed to come out.
Yeah, that happened.
Well, remember they had to change a bunch of that because
change it.
You know what I'm talking about.
But he had that idea previously, and there was supposed to be a lot more chaos in that. It was supposed to be
not just Metal Gear Solid 2. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, a lot of them. They are just very much a lot of Nostradamus sort of stuff happening. Where in Metal Gear Solid 4, he's talking about PMCs, and that was on the rise.
That's a reality, yeah.
So he kind of has his finger on the pulse of what's going on as of now.
Yeah, it's just very interesting how that game is actually, if you really look at it in today's context, it's actually quite prophetic game. Way ahead of its time.
By the way, let me also add that Solidus is also the same numbered president as George W. Bush. Just putting that out there.
All right, I want to move on because again we got a lot of questions and we're going a little slow tonight. All right, next up, G Megaforce. He's going to slow me down a little bit with his long ass question. All right, so and let me finish this one because there's a couple of layers to this. He actually did say that it's two questions in one, kind of. Okay, why is storytelling in video games so hard? I was watching the Detroit 1 hour quick look and was unimpressed with the generic story. So storytelling in games is generally not the best, but why is it that video games struggle so much with telling good stories? Mainstream movies generally don't have unique stories either, but then there are books. You very often hear about fantastical books, stories that define experiences that we haven't gotten to in video games yet. What if the problem isn't the medium, but rather too many people working on the project? Books are usually limited to one person with guidance from the publisher, but thanks to the internet, publishers are a thing of the past. Could the problem be that developers are trying to make games and are using their tools to make games first and then thinking about the story later? Or is it that people lack imagination? Or is it that the wrong people are making games? A lot of shit there, man. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It seems to me like he's asking, why are video game stories so generic? That's what I'm taking away from this.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, the one thing about in just storytelling in general is that everything is not original. Everything is all there is. Also, you could point back to a lot of stories in history, or not even that long ago, which may resemble a story that exists currently. So it's incredibly hard to develop a story that people will think is very interesting, and that goes for movies too. You know, that's why everybody nowadays kind of goes to the easy answer of readapting something from something else, because it is so fucking hard to do those sorts of things. So, yeah, for a game like Detroit, I mean, that's the common, thing on there, that, you have this kind of somewhat generic, robots versus human allegory, for, racial or, current events and stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, most games stories are actually like that. It is actually tacked in at the end.
Yeah.
You could.
Well, I mean, most game stories are built to connect a series of events that the game developers really wanted to do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and the other thing is, video game storytelling is very different than other types of stories. But I wouldn't say that video game stories are bad necessarily, like, compared to others. I feel there's some games that have stories that are way better than movies and stuff, just like there are some movies that are better than game stories. It all depends, it all comes back to talent. Obviously, some people are better at it than others, but I wouldn't say that all video games are generally bad or generic. I completely agree with that. To disagree with that, Brett, I want your thoughts on this.
I think it's hard to tell a good story. Excuse me. It's hard to balance telling a good story with giving the player freedom to experience the good story. In a movie, it's down to they get to control where you're looking and how long you're looking there and what you get to see and what place you're in. They have the ability to teleport you around and things like that. It's actually something that we take for granted. And that we've all been kind of accustomed to. One thing that I've noticed that's really weird, and I think I've mentioned it before, is my dad's side of the family. My dad grew up going to movies a lot with his mom when he was a kid. It was kind of their thing. Whereas my mom's family never really went to the movies. They didn't really watch a whole lot of TV together. And when they did, they constantly talked over it. And the important thing to note is, a little side note here. When they first started editing, like heavily editing movies, they really actually threw audiences for a loop, because people weren't used to the idea of seeing one scene and then suddenly jumping and seeing another one, and suddenly jumping and seeing it from another perspective, because they were kind of conditioned by plays. There was actually
no, that's what they assumed, that audiences could not get that. That's why they didn't cut it, and he set them all up like plays.
Yeah, well, it
wasn't until a lot of the other movie makers started to doing edits and quick cuts. They started to figure out, wait, people can understand a narrative more than just doing that, and that's where editing was kind of born. I don't think it's. I think it's just them kind of underestimating the audience at the time, and that's why they didn't do those sorts of things. It's kind of. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was. I personally think it was metering out because I've noticed everybody on my mom's side of the family, and this is where I'm circling back to this, has trouble following a movie, has trouble following edits, has trouble following. They're like, wait, where are we now? What's suddenly going on? Like, who's that person? Did we see him earlier? Like, yes, it's you. They're telling a story. Just go with it. Like, well, but I don't know. I don't know where that thing that happened last time. It's like it's because they haven't told you yet. Just sit along for the ride. That'll fill in the gaps for you as you go. Okay, but I'm really confused. Why are we seeing this guy now? Like, oh my god, I'm watching the same fucking movie that you are. So I've definitely learned that either there's just a difference with certain people or that certain people have been conditioned to be able to understand visual languages. And I've kind of had it with people I've introduced to comic books too. Like it takes them it's a very short learning curve, but it takes them a minute to really kind of grasp how they're supposed to read it. Especially for ones that don't have really strong visual flow. They're like, okay, so, and sometimes they'll, for the first few issues, they'll be like, I just don't really understand this page. And you're like, okay, you're reading that panel in the wrong order. Actually, you read it like this.
That's usually a failure of the artist sometimes, though.
It really is. But seasoned comic readers can kind of skip over that and kind of be like, okay, I can tell what they're trying to do here. So I think there is a very small amount of learning of visual language. So that being said, I don't think that we've learned how to leave that decision up to the character, or up to the player, but still get them to go where we want. Because the answer isn't to put blinders on the player or to grab them by the head and turn them in a direction. The obvious answer, and they're starting to definitely figure this out, is to entice a player's vision towards a certain place, to direct the visual flow through sound or effects or events happening towards certain places. So you could definitely direct it that way, or as I'm starting to really enjoy, setting up the tools for emergent narrative to come out. So all the things that you can sit down and say, okay, well, what are all the elements of a quest, and how can we build a world that you naturally gravitate to and do all these things in an organic way? So you've still done all this, you've still found you're playing a Lord of the Rings game, you still found an artifact of great power. It's still brought chaos and ruin upon you, leaving you with a tragic choice to have to abandon your home. So you do abandon your home, and then you actually have to get to this place to destroy this artifact, and you meet all these trials and tribulations along the way. But we're going to try to just make all that shit happen by corrupting your home and telling you where on the map to go. So there's several different ways to do it, but there's still figuring out which is the best way and which way players respond to best. And it's only further complicated by the fact that there's no single answer. Some players respond to one thing, like Tony really responds to narrative directed gameplay. He doesn't mind somebody by grabbing him by the back of the head and going, look here. I really respond to emergent narrative gameplay, the ability to build my own story, but I get bored if you don't channel me into proper venues to have that story. Like, it's fine if you make an open world PvP game. Is there incentive in the way that you distribute resources or drops that make me run across other players? Because if we all have all the metal we need to make all the guns that we need, then what the fuck is the point of battling? You have to have a good catch-22 of, well, you need the metal to make the guns, and you need the metal to make the bullets, but you need the bullets to kill the players to get the metal. So you gotta kind of succeed more than you fail, and that creates a dilemma that you can then say, well, how do I create more success? Well, you might have more armor or more health, or maybe you've built some health potions to go in. There's all kinds of secondary things you can do to guarantee more success in that, and that kind of leads to an organic, okay, so we're heading out. We need to get our potions. We need to figure out our enemy. We need to figure out what they're weak against. We need to armor up, and then all of a sudden you're playing The Witcher. Which I found absolutely hilarious because I don't like The Witcher, but I am essentially playing The Witcher when I play Conan. I'm spending a lot of time preparing, brewing potions, hunting down ingredients from wild animals, and fighting bad guys to get to the next leg of my journey to build a certain armor or something like that I'm going to need to take down a certain enemy so that I can go fight a boss and loot a chest. So all the same steps, but they're letting me write it. So the short answer for this very long spiel is I think that they don't know / know how / trust the player enough to give them control, and still have all of their big moments recognized, or still have the character go the way that they want.
I don't know if it's about trust. I think it's about also form fits the function. You know, if you have a specific narrative to tell, what is the best way to do that? I mean, to be honest, I think it's something that in video games in general kind of try to recreate and struggle to do. You know, but I don't think. I mean, you know, for a game like, you know, for like open worldy type of games, they're not looking to tell a specific narrative. They're usually looking for you to make your own narrative within that world. Other than the usual kind of fetch quests of like, hey, I need this, get me that. You know, I think that's. You know, like I don't think Fallout. That. I don't think. I mean, like for a game, yeah, like Fallout. I mean, there is a specific narrative, but they're cycling you down a corridor. They have a specific narrative that they want you to go on.
Well, they have a lot of side narrative too, which is where they have a lot of really cool. Like if you decide to hunt down and open up all the computer terminals, like you'll find a really interesting story and really interesting lore. And that's, you know, as a lore hound, that's one thing I really enjoy.
Yeah, they kind of let you, as opposed to, and I mean that's a creation of a lot of modern sorts of games where it's like they let you figure out how deep you want to go, as opposed to doing the Metal Gear Solid information dump on you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, but even was the recordings.
But even in a Metal Gear game, there is still a fair amount of going out of your way to go deeper to find out what's happening further on. Like if you keep on talking to them, you know, or showing or you know having different items on you, you'll get more information about what's going on if you want to.
I don't think Kojima is a fair example.
No, he's not,
because he actually trusts his players to be smart enough to understand a complicated storyline. There's a fair amount of hand-holding both in gameplay and narrative. Like there's a lot of games where I'm like, I get it. You're beating me with the very singular theme of this game repeatedly in the face as if it were a fucking shovel. I get it.
Yeah, I think
Mass Effect Andromeda.
And there's also the other situation in games where you have an assistant character who doesn't know anything, who has to be told something. You always have that person that's always there to be like somebody to be like, what is this? Oh yeah, that's a thing that you know we use to do this, and this. It's like, oh okay, thank you. As opposed to, you know, the usual stuff where they'll just kind of keep throwing shit at you.
Yeah, all right.
Not having a reason.
I want to get somebody else in here because I want to move on to the next question. Anybody else have anything to say about narratives in games?
Yeah, I mean, I made the comparison to books and movies, but remember, books, movies, anything that's come before video games now has been passive media. You sit your ass in a chair or wherever, and you open a book or you're looking at a screen, and the narrative is fed to you. You can't interact with it. You can't change the outcome. You can't do anything. The reason things are suspenseful and stuff, and they entertainers, directors, writers, whatever, succeed is when you are entertained, like you're either pulled into the story or whatever, but you are not interacting with it. You are just consuming it, right? So video games are the first thing where you can actually interact with the media. You make the story. You are the protagonist or the antagonist or whatever, and you are the focal point, and you discover this world through your actions, right? If you get to the next narrative or not depends on how good you are, or which path you take, and all this. You're making these decisions, right? So that opens up a whole dimension in storytelling that makes it far more difficult. And you make a good point. When you have more cooks in the kitchen, especially suits, uncreative people who just care about money, then yeah, you're gonna have problems in storytelling because they're not looking at, have we entertained? Is the person buying this going to be entertained? Are they going to feel good after playing this? Most of them don't give a shit if you feel good. They want
Case
your
in
money.
point, E.T.
I thought you were going to say EA. That would be more apt.
I'm a freaking EA. With E.T., they put all this money. It's like, oh yeah, this will be great because of the movie. Did anybody bother reviewing and playing the game? No, it'll be fine. It's linked to the movie. Garbage.
Other than also the fact that game was done in a week.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah, it is garbage. The biggest garbage like pile in history. You know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anybody else want to jump in narratives and games? I'm gonna take that as a no. So we'll move on here. to Caleb Kaiser. So his first question is, who are your top 3 video game female characters, your favorite? He says his are Chloe, from Uncharted, Aya from Assassin's Creed Origins, and Jodie from Beyond Two Souls. Very interesting. Manny, top 3 female characters in games.
Top 3 female characters in games. It doesn't need to be characters that you've played, right?
No.
I'm gonna say the boss from Metal Gear Solid.
Ooh, that's
3.
a good one.
I am going to say Cat from Gravity Rush, and I'm going to say, I'm gonna say, that's a hard one. The third one, I'm gonna say, 2B from Nier Automata.
Yeah, there you go. Damn, you kind of fucked me because I picked just playable ones. Boss, I really should have picked one, but I'm gonna stick with my guns here. Number 1 is the big one for me, Lara Croft, the original Lara Croft.
Wait, I'm gonna switch it. Senua.
Senua. All right.
Damn you, Manny.
Oh boy.
Man, all right, Manny, you don't get to chime in. We're fucking everybody's flow up. All right. Okay, so for me, Lara Croft, Samus, and Chun-Li.
Damn it, Tony.
Yeah.
You just took Chris's number 1.
Chun-Li.
And Chun-Li. All right, Chris, go.
Number 1 for me was going to be Samus. Number 2 is Lara Croft, and third I was going to do Ellen Ripley's daughter from Alien Isolation.
Ooh.
I really like that. Anybody who could live through that shit, I would have.
What game is she in?
In Alien Isolation.
Yeah, Alien Isolation.
Oh, I guess she is in Alien Isolation, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Newt.
No, not Newt. Ellen Ripley's daughter.
Her actual daughter.
Was Newt in a game?
No.
No.
What am I thinking of? I swear I saw her in a cutscene for a game. CGI something.
No.
Maybe Colonial Marines or some shit. That game is all fucked up,
I definitely didn't play that shit though.
Yeah, Alien Isolation was about her biological daughter. I don't remember her first name off the top of my head. But was a great game. She's a great character. She was very resourceful, and I'm like, that's a great character. That was a great game. It went on a little too long.
Yes.
But still great, and she's a great character.
Hey, Chris, wink for one of our questions later on, man. By the way, her name's Amanda Ripley.
Amanda, thank you.
All right, Carlos.
I was gonna go back and play that game. I was like, oh shit, Newt's in that game. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's not Newt, but Amanda's fucking awesome. Carlos.
Ellie. What's it called? 2B and Cortana.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Halo.
Yeah. Oh man, some guys in the chat are coming up with some good ones. Bayonetta.
Oh, Bayonetta.
Hold on, hey, quit it.
Okay.
Stop that.
Okay, Brett, go ahead, man, before we fuck it up.
Zelda.
Jesus
Zelda.
fucking Christ, you people. All right, before all the other ones are taken, I'm also throwing.
It's not a competition, man.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I know. This is all old news now because you motherfuckers. So yeah, I agree with everybody. I've had everything else stolen except for Tifa and GLaDOS.
All right, Brian.
Fuck you, Brent.
Damn, fuck.
Whoever goes last gets screwed badly.
Fuck you because you like the same shit I do.
Yeah, this is weird. Like, why are we fighting?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
told you that shit'll happen anyway.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Okay. Well, I was gonna go with GLaDOS, and then go with what was it again? Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, not Laura Croft, because there's no U in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Lara
saying.
Croft.
Laura, motherfuckers, Laura.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying like other people that call her Laura.
You mean
Croft.
Laura
Like, no,
Croft?
Yeah, it's
Lara
Laura.
Croft.
It's Laura.
It's like Brian, Lara, Cricket. It's Lara.
Motherfuckers,
Lara.
that's right, man. That's right. I'm glad me and Brian.
Mario?
Yeah, I'm glad me and Brian have.
Mario.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad me and Brian have some of the same beefs. Go
And
ahead.
then the final one, and this is kind of one that no one has picked because great. John D from Saints Row.
Oh, Sean D.
Sean D,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah.
I thought she was amazing, like co-pilot.
All right. But I do really want to give a shout out to Bayonetta, though.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to shout out to Samus because Samus is the ultimate and the first.
Yeah, these guys
I
are
mean,
saying
it's-
Kane. Who the fuck is Kane? Kaine. I don't know who
Who
that
is
is.
that?
You mean the wrestler?
Two guys
Oh,
have
that's a
brought her
guy.
up. Yeah, two guys have brought her up already. It says Kane is better than 2B. Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I didn't play the first
Subliminal
Nier.
messaging. What the hell?
I didn't play the first Nier.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaine. Kaine. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
I-
what they were talking about.
Gotcha. Kazumi. Anyway, Adam,
I'm
go ahead.
surprised. I'm surprised nobody mentioned that game that I didn't play, the one with all the mental problems.
That's why I said
Manny did.
Senua.
Yeah, Manny did. Yeah.
And you mentioned it in Brett.
That's
Well,
her name.
Yeah,
Senua?
Senua. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
No
go.
love for Alloy.
That wasn't my thing though.
Oh, no love for
mine was-
Alloy and Horizon.
No,
yeah.
mine was, it was easy. Mine
Aloy.
was Ellie. Mine was Ellie because of the standalone side missions that she did. DLC that was fun. Lara Croft because I played so many of those damn Tomb Raider games, and then Samus, Metroid.
I liked Ellie a lot in The Last of Us, but I'm also like buying up her stock because she's probably gonna be even more of a badass in Last of Us too.
You know
There's plenty. You could give honorable mentions. You got
Who
Jill
was the one-
Valentine.
what happened,
Rest-
Brian?
I thought about Jill Valentine from
Yeah, Jill
Resident Evil
Valentine.
2.
Yeah, Brian, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I'm trying to think of the one from Last of Us. Not Ellie, but the other one.
Oh, what's her face?
Oh,
The
his
one,
first partner.
the one Rachel hated.
Yeah.
Oh,
That one. I'm like, I actually liked it. I thought she was pretty cool. But hey, whatever.
Rachel hated her. I
Yeah, she
remember.
hated her boy.
the white girl, or the black girl, because
The
there's only
white,
two
the white
other
chick, the
females
white,
in that
the white chick.
The white
Oh,
girl,
okay.
yeah.
And also, shout out
Girlfriend,
to
love interest.
one from not Hellblade, but the one before.
Nadiko.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
Nadiko. Yeah,
because I can imagine that Torrent right now is just like shouting on the screen, like, "Why not her? Why not her?" There you
Yeah.
go, Torrent.
by the way, homegirl's name was Tess.
No, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. That was Subgator who said Nadiko, and he also said Cosmos from Xenosaga. Pretty cool. Maria and Bloodborne. Okay, I guess that counts.
Lady Maria.
Does a dog count?
I'm not gonna say it.
You like the doll?
Yeah. All right. I thought you said
Shout
a
out to
dog. I'm like, there's a
Marcus
Shout out to Fan Princess.
Yeah, Fat Princess. There you go. Also shout out to Lady Explosion Man. Why not? And Miss Pac-Man too.
Miss Pac-Man too.
Yeah, man. There you go.
Fem Shep.
Yeah. Hey,
Fem Shep.
the doctor. I could name a lot of females from Persona that I like,
Pac-Man
man.
was fast. That was the whole point of playing that one. Remember, it was like, oh wow, this is like Super Pac-Man. So you could run.
Yeah, man. All right.
on that
Yeah,
track.
let's move on, man. Okay. For PlayStation 5, I would love for Sony to take the Nathan Drake collection and give it to a studio to remake it as detailed as Uncharted 4. Is it possible? Is it possible that we can see it happen next generation? Here's the thing. Yes, they could definitely make it. It's just, will they make it? And they probably won't. If they don't see it's going to make them any money, they probably won't do it.
Are they yeah, could you see them doing the Blue Point treatment?
I don't think so.
to-
I don't think
that
they'll do
game?
it. But it
Here's
is.
the-
But it is possible to make it. It is possible to make it. That's easy. I don't think they're
Here's
going to
the-
do it though.
Here's the interesting thing about the Blue Point one. The Blue Point one does have a fair amount of changes that were done. All the Nathan Drake models are higher resolution in those previous games. They updated all the models inside of the game.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think they're probably just gonna be like, hey, I'm pretty sure you can still play the game on your PlayStation 5, But I don't think they're gonna do a remake unless there's a big demand for it, which I kind of don't see. But who knows? I could be wrong. I don't think we need to go any further with this question. So I'm moving on here with Mr. Swedish Gamer Dad. All right. So his first question is: considering what we know today about the console market, PlayStation 4 will sell around 100 million estimated consoles before the PlayStation 5 launches in 2019, 2020, or 2021, man, with enormous mind share and consumer trust. I'm just going to read this as he wrote it. And remember, my man's Swedish, so, English is a little funny here. What will that make it a generation on lockdown for PlayStation? I'm guessing he's asking, does PlayStation already have the next gen on lock? I don't think you can say that. You never know. I mean, I think they have
think you
different.
can.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I personally think they do because, like I've said before, PlayStation being the #1 system is like the norm. Not being the norm is the thing. But you never know. Maybe Xbox will get a shit together. Maybe Nintendo will come out with a better Switch. You never know. Like I said, I think it will be, but I could be completely wrong. You know, you never know. It's too hard to tell right now. You know, what do you guys say? Does PlayStation have it unlocked next gen?
Next gen? No.
Yeah. Because they could fuck up. They could fuck up royally. You could say the same thing about the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 2 was out. Like, wait, they got this shit unlocked. They got this shit. Everybody thought they had this shit unlocked. And then look what happened. You know?
Is this only in context with Microsoft and Sony, or is this Nintendo as well?
Everything. Take everything
Okay,
into account.
Yeah, then it's not unlocked because Nintendo is the only one that I would think could be a game changer against PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really say it's on lockdown. I mean, if you were to just change the question to Microsoft and Sony, I think it would be locked down.
Yeah, but he didn't say that. He you know, the way he phrased it was like about everything. And again, even let's just say for the sake of argument, let's say it was just Sony and Microsoft. Sony could fuck up royally, right? So they don't have it on lock, you know. All right.
Could, but
yeah.
I mean,
again, I think it is likely they will, but if they fuck up or the competition makes something better, then they don't have it on lock, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we need to go on any further unless anybody wants to jump in on anything extra with that one. All right. What would it take for Xbox to not just cover ground but surpass PlayStation and even Nintendo? We kind of covered this before.
We talked about it.
It ain't happening this generation. Shit is done. You know, the only way to surpass it that generation is going back to what we said before. If Sony or Nintendo fuck up royal, that's the only way. And let's just be real. I'm gonna get some heat for this now. That's that's one of the main reasons, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons why Xbox 360 did so well last generation, because Sony fucked up so royally. You know, kind of interesting because that's what happened this generation. Microsoft fucked up royally and Sony took ground. You know, but yeah, that's the only way it could gain ground next generation if Sony fucks up royally. You know, I don't really see Microsoft putting out anything that's superior. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I see things. What do you guys say? Even though we kind of talked about this, so we don't really need to go over it.
Yeah. If Sony decides to kill their PlayStation division, maybe.
Yeah, and then Sony would just be committing suicide, you know?
Yeah. Shout out to the truth.
You know, the truth. What's going on, brother? All right. This is a question from Xskull. I'm going to read the question, but we're not going to answer it because Xskull, I'm going to save this for our E3 special next week, because this is a straight up E3 question. You know, what would be your top 5 E3 moments or hopes that you want? That's a great fun question. We're gonna save that for next week. That's gonna be the first question we ask. That's a great one, man. All right, so moving on here to Mr. Matt Wheaton. So his first one is, I'm just going for an idea which I'm kind of hoping to be a thing, but what are your thoughts on a type of Metroidvania with mechs, or as I would call it, #Mechavania? I'm kind of hoping Code Hardcore would be that game, but that's just me. I don't know what Code Hardcore is. But yeah, sure, if you want to have a mech-based Metroidvania game, sure, why not? You know, I don't have a problem with that. I'm kind of tired of Metroidvania games, though. That's my only problem there. But sure, why not? Mechs are cool. Metroidvania games are cool. So yeah, why not?
Wasn't God of War kind of a Metroidvania?
But now with mechs.
Now with mechs, though. Yeah, the key is mechs. Do you want to see that?
I mean, I don't sure.
Unless you can get out like Titanfall, I then no.
Oh, you mean like Blaster Master? That's what he wants?
Yeah, Blaster Master.
Blaster Master. That was fun.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Okay, well that exists.
Yeah, you can get Blaster Master, and he named something called Code Hardcore. I guess that's like a Metroidvania mech game. Sure, why not? I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't think anybody in this panel feels strongly one way or the other about this. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I love mech games so much that I need to have a Metroidvania. But if it comes out and it's good, then I'll play it. Kind of a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm just trying to think because I think some of those have been done.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Super Turrican was like a Metroidvania.
Super Turrican. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Also, Zardian on SNES. Said Joey Williams.
Ranger X on Genesis.
Yeah. Armored Warriors, Mighty Nerd. Yeah, so those games exist, you know?
Yeah, it's been done.
It's been done. So there you go. All right, next question. Little bit kind of related. By the way, this is Matt Whedon's second question about this subject. So I'm guessing he wants this game to happen. Okay, will From Software be making an Armored Core 6 or possibly... I'm going to stop the question right there. They already announced they are making a new Armored Core game. So I'm going to rephrase the question a little bit here. So could Armored Core 6 possibly be a spiritual successor to the franchise, kind of like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, or kind of the spiritual successor to Kingsfield? I think it's just. Do you think? So, what do you guys think? Do you think the new Armored Core is going to be like a spiritual successor type of thing, or is it going to be a sequel?
No, it's going to be a sequel.
It's gonna be a sequel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a sequel. Yeah, because it's called 6. You know.
Yeah, it's called 6. It's not called Armored Core Revolution or something like that, where they're totally reinventing the whole thing. So I think it'll be pretty much the same fare as to what the previous Armored Core game.
Yeah, I think, remember, he's asking this question under the context of him wishing they would make a new Armored Core, and if they did, would it be a spiritual successor? But they were actually already announced that it is a full-on sequel that's coming. So
yeah, but it wouldn't. Spiritual successors don't usually use the same name.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a game like God of War, which kind of is a spiritual successor to the God of War game.
That's a soft reboot, I call it.
Yeah, it's a soft reboot.
Yeah, but again, he's coming at it from, he didn't even know this announcement was even made. Understand?
Oh, yeah.
So he was just wondering, would they make another game, or stuff like that. All right, moving on here. Kevin, he changed his name. Kevin Spacey's Lemon Party. A little bit more family-friendly name, so I thank you for that. Okay, are there any games you enjoyed but felt were too long? What would you have taken out of the game to make it a perfect length experience? First, I'm going to jump to you, man, because you already mentioned it earlier, and I agree with you on this one.
Yeah, Alien Isolation, man. It just got too tedious. Like, it's just lockers over and over and over again. Go another hallway, go another part of the space station. Close the locker, look around, go. That started to get dull. That game just needed an edit, like cut that part out, get to the crux of the story and whatnot. And it wasted a lot of time with and then they tried to change it up with the working Joes.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't change up jack shit. Yeah, that was my problem with that game. It was brilliant otherwise. It just got too tedious.
Yeah. To answer that part of the question, what I would have done is I actually would have taken out the whole working Joe's part, because I was like a good 25% of that game that did not need to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. The working Joes were stupid, man.
Yeah. And as I've also said, I also say Dragon Age Inquisition was too long. But it was mostly a Tony problem there, because when I got to an area, it's like, okay, I can't move on to the next one. I can't move the story forward until I get every fucking collectible in this area, But Alien Isolation is a better one, because you legit could have just taken that out. Most people who play a game agree that game was too fucking long, But other than that, it was perfect, So, Manny, what game did you like that you felt was too long?
What game did I feel that I liked that was way too long? There was, man, I can't. Nothing really comes to mind. I mean, a lot of games have been. These are a lot of the games that I have played. They're just kind of. Oh no! I know Castlevania: Lords of Shadow.
No, you didn't like that game.
Oh, did I?
You have to like the game. What about?
I have to like the game.
Yeah.
It couldn't be. It couldn't. Usually, a game that goes on too long is something I don't care for very much.
Yeah. Hey man, here's one for you. Kal-El says Mad Max.
Mad Max. I haven't played all of Mad Max.
Just
played up to a certain point. I just haven't been able to do it. But
what about Odin Sphere?
Oh, who said that?
Joey Williams said that.
Joey? That's it. Odin Sphere. That game goes on, you go through the whole rigmarole. Hey, I'm going to play with this character. Then another character opens. Then another character goes over. And you're playing essentially almost a lot of the same events over and over again. Yeah, I'm going to say Odin Sphere.
Hey, man, I got another one for both of us. Puppeteer.
Oh, yeah, Puppeteer. Yeah. I was totally
really good, very good game, very fun game. Went on too long.
Yeah.
Went on too long.
I agree. So there you go.
All right, Carlos. Carlos ain't here. Wait, there you are. All right, come back. I'm gonna jump to Brett. Brett, what game did you like, but you felt went on too long? All right, he's not here right now. Adam.
I know I'm gonna hear some shit for this one, but I, just finished it, and I just felt like, man, God of War. I felt like there were some parts that just weren't needed, and I'm like, all right, I'm just dragging. I'm not even talking about the side missions because that's optional. I'm just like the story and some of the rooms. I'm like, all right, I feel like they're just throwing it in for the sake of throwing it in. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I love the game. I just felt like, all right, more of this. So, but it was fun. But yeah, I think that could have been shortened a little bit.
All right, Brett, you ready now?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just having trouble thinking. I think I felt that way about a few Assassin's Creed games, but I am the opposite of Tony. The second I'm like, yeah, I'm not having fun. I just jump back to the side quest that I was having fun with, or just burrow straight through the main quest. So even in games like Skyrim, for instance, like, the games that I feel like go on too long, weirdly enough, are the ones that I generally save a second playthrough instead of doing everything all at once. So I'll spec my character one way, or I'll do things one way, and then I'll finish. The second I start to get bored, I'll just finish and call it done. And I'll go back to it later, and I'll do things a different way, and I'll try a different kind of character. So I would say those big games that generally take too long are the big games that take too long are generally kind of like big open world RPG style games. I can't really think of a lot of super narrative games that.
I got one.
What's that?
The Uncharted series.
The series?
Yeah, because I think a lot of those games, like before they had the bullet sponge like characters, where you spend like freaking 30 minutes just like spraying those dudes so they can all die. So I feel like a lot of those games like could just cut down a lot of that stuff. Like I don't care if the game is shorter. I just don't want to be like shooting people like oh, here we're into this part where all the things are set up so you can take cover. Like these types of like areas where you just have to shoot people. Either be more creative with the way like you have to like take out enemies, or just don't like beef it up like that. And I love those games. Uncharted's like one of my favorite series, but I still have an issue with that kind of stuff.
All right, Brian.
I can't really think of anything, to be honest. I'm just kind of like, it's
Warframe, it never ends.
then not too long. Fine. Too short. I think that like most games, I don't really think that I've played a game that I felt was too long. To be honest, I just felt like either I've not enjoyed it, or it was all right. Like even with the Uncharted games, like I'm not a fan of them, but I don't think that they're too long. I think that they serve a nice purpose, like the nice Hollywood games. So yeah, like even like The Last of Us, like I really don't like that game, but I don't think that it was too long. I actually felt that it may have been a bit too short. I think it's quite weird.
Well, I guess maybe I'm answering the question differently. Like, I don't think the game overall is too long. I just think that there's some parts that kind of drag it on too much that make it feel longer. Just just for the sake of making it feel longer. Those kinds of things are the ones that I'm kind of like talking about. I don't know if that is answering the question though.
As far as I'm concerned, you answered it. Joey Williams says The Last of Us.
And sorry.
Yeah, and sorry. He's apologizing.
Yeah, I agree with that too, especially that last fucking segment. Oh Lord.
Oh, when you get
Oh man, that was not needed.
Yeah, when you get to the last city, like I just felt like it dragged on a little bit too long. I agree. Like those, like The Last of Us and Uncharted, like you can reduce it by like the gameplay and the story by like 3 or 4 hours, and it'll still be a great game.
You guys are probably like the Uncharted spin-off game.
The Lost Legacy?
Yeah.
I was playing some of that. I got up to like a waterfall area.
Adam, I do feel that you say most games are too long, though.
Well, it depends. I don't know. I feel like the story has to be consistent, and I like story-based games, and they just have to flow. Like I like Call of Duty games. I feel like they're short, it's like 5-6 hours, but it's consistent. Then there's no side bullshit. It's like, all right, we're gonna throw you off of here for a while just to give you something to do, and then we're gonna put you back on the main story. It's like, no, I just want the story in and out. Gotta go, move on to something else.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll move on here to Mr. Lego Bro. So he goes, it has been almost 5 years since the infamous Sony sharing video from E3 2013. Was this the dagger that helped destroy Xbox One this generation? No, the dagger that killed the Xbox that generation was the Xbox One reveal event. Let's just be real. Let's just be real. By the time that video came out, the damage was already done, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we answered that one. It was the Xbox One reveal event, man. All right, moving on. The last two questions are from Mr. Black Metal Gamer. This first one is interesting. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to explain what was weird about it. So he goes, what are your thoughts on a new Microsoft game called Miami Heat and the outrage it sort of caused on social media? All right, dude, I looked this up on Google. All I could find about Miami Heat is the basketball team. So I don't know how to answer this. I have not heard about this game. Somebody could fill me in, please do. Is there an Xbox game called Miami Heat, and what was the controversy? Again, I looked this up. I could just find the basketball team. That's all I could find, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I Googled Miami Heat and Xbox, and all I got was, like, controller skins.
Yeah,
of the
that's
basketball
right.
team
That's right.
and the Xbox, like, decals and stuff. So, yeah, I can't find anything. on
Okay,
it right
so
now.
thank you. Listen, by the way, hey, I'm just reading what he wrote. The truth says Miami Street. So you know what? We're going to look this up right the fuck now.
Oh, Miami Street.
Let's look it up.
What kind of game is it?
I don't know. We're about to find out right now. Because he said Miami Heat. I'm like, okay, I got
the racing game that they just put on into the radar.
okay. So Brian, is that what would cause controversy? Because they just
It sounds like it, because I remember reading a small news article saying hey, this game that Microsoft put out had no marketing. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. So maybe it's that one.
It says Microsoft stealth releases new PC racing game called Miami Street, and it's nothing like Forza.
Yo, it looks. Oh, yeah. It looks kind of funky, man.
Uh-oh. Is that the controversy then?
I don't know.
Yeah, by
I'm
the way,
just
if you
looking at
guys...
the detail of the cars and
Okay. If you guys in the comments could tell us what the controversy is, please let us know, because we just don't know about this.
Is it like a Life of Black Tiger thing?
That's not that bad. I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be a good racing game. I just the detail on the car looks kind of odd.
It says that it was for PC.
Hey Brian, if this is a Life of Tiger situation, do they have the trailer up on Xbox's YouTube channel promoted?
So I found a video on YouTube. Right, I'm just gonna read the comments.
Okay.
And I don't know what we'll get from this, but
just be careful.
yeah, one of them says, "What the heck? 6 thumbs up. This is a diabetic game. Trash. This game is ugly as hell." Oh boy.
But what's the controversy?
Is that the controversy because the game looks like trash?
That doesn't make sense. Controversy means that it's doing something to offend or cause some kind of.
Okay. I think I understand. I think I understand, because the game could be played on any Windows device, including mobile. The game looks like shit because of that.
Ooh.
Now I understand the controversy.
Oh, but this is but in general, this is it's a PC. It's a PC release.
It's a Windows release, so it could also be played on your phone too.
It's a Windows release. So it's not even. It's not even a Xbox.
So it's a mobile game. It's a mobile.
It's a mobile game. So
okay,
that's
the controversy. It's a mobile game. You know they want their AAA games, man.
But the thing is that this is not even for the Xbox.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why this is. I don't know why this is even a controversy. Like Xbox has Forza. It's like they already have a racing game that looks great.
Yeah, this is a racing game that's made for their mobile platforms.
Hold on, I'm being entertained. Carlos, read some more of those comments, man. Now I'm being entertained.
All right, holy shit, Microsoft, what have you become? This Miami Street is an insult to all racing games. That dislike to like ratio. Oh damn! Yo, 59 likes, 441 dislikes.
Damn.
Press X to win. Why does this exist? It's like a shooter where you neither walk nor aim. What?
Yo, these comments are kind of gold, man.
What the hell? I was expecting nothing, and Microsoft still managed to frustrate me. I will never buy anything from Microsoft again. That was a good one.
So I mean, the thing is, it's like I think the it's all about the context for this, because I definitely think this is just more for their mobile. The reason why this has probably gotten a stealth release is because of just that question. It's a racing game that it's a racing game that people would automatically think that is for their Xbox or something else.
Okay, so you don't even control like a normal racing game. It's touch controls.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a video here that it shows mouse controls on there. So the car races down the street, and you essentially press your touch the screen at a specific moment for it to do certain things.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yo, Carlos, you got those comments from the Randall Thor video, right?
No, I got them from it's a From Life video.
Oh, okay, because Randall Thor put out a video. He goes, "What the fuck is Microsoft's newest IP, Miami Street?"
Damn. I mean, I wouldn't like be too critical of this stuff. Like Microsoft already has their flagship racing games. It's like,
yeah, to be honest, if they called this thing Forza, that would piss people off even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if it was like Forza Mobile or something. People would be.
Yeah, Forza Mobile.
Oh, this Miami reporter is a little bit cute. I'll follow her. Excuse me. All right, I'm just looking on Twitter right now. Hold left mouse after red. Okay, so they brought a touch-based mobile game over to Microsoft. Okay, but again, yeah, when I saw that controversy, go play Forza then.
Yeah, like brought it over to Microsoft, and nowhere in this information does it say it's even it's on the Xbox. It's all for their tablet stuff, and it just so happens to work on Windows.
Yeah.
Yo, by the way, because I just wrote Miami Street on Twitter, and I'm just getting this isn't for the game. It's just this guy goes, when I'm in Miami and I hear someone on the street yell, "Come pinga," I know I'm home. Oh, man. All right, so there you go, Miami Street, the hottest game of all times. All right. So the last question here is, what would you fix or add to make State of Decay a better quality game? Or is it great because 68 is now the new 88? We're gonna answer the last part later. There's some explanation with the last one. So yeah, what would you do to make State of Decay a better game?
Not make State of Decay in general.
Yeah, not make it a zombie game.
Not make it a zombie game.
How about that?
But then again,
I like your first answer. Just don't make State of Decay. Period.
Just don't make. I mean, nobody cared about State of Decay 1. Why make a State of Decay 2?
Yeah, when I first heard of it, I'm like, State of Decay 2. Where's the first one? You know?
I was like, at the same thing. I'm like, wait, it had a first one. You know what they should really do is fuck with people and just call things like sequels. Like Dragon Lord 2. Okay,
Yeah.
why? Because. But yeah, I to be honest, I think for State of Decay, it really is a incredibly hard sell for a game franchise that most people may have not heard of. And then number two, we have a lot of that zombie fatigue kind of going on. People are dropping off of Walking Dead like flies. People are, just the zombie genre games, I think, have been overly.
Tell that to Call of Duty. They went all
in. And watch that.
All in.
And watch that thing just be like, all right, whatever. But who knows? We don't know. But I suspect that.
Now, Call of Duty guys are going to eat that shit up, man. You know that.
What's with all the zombies?
No, they're going to love the fuck out of it, man.
They just want variety out of the games that they praise, so anything is welcome for them.
Okay, actually, let me ask the obvious question before you move on. Has anybody in here even played State of Decay 2?
That's why I've been tap dancing around it. God damn it!
Let's just get to it.
I was just gonna say I can't really tell them what.
That's
to
what
do.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I never played it.
That's why I was tap dancing around that. I wasn't saying how they could improve it. I was just saying don't make it.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Brett?
Yeah, Brett. I'm looking in your general direction right now, man.
No, I have not yet.
All right, yet though. So we will have a follow up on that.
We want to review double space.
Double space. Oh God! All right, now I need to give you guys some context.
Scoring.
the last part here, he goes, is it great because 68 is the new 88? So over the weekend, this fanboy, Livewire Games, he basically said since Avengers Infinity War got a 68 on Metacritic and State of Decay 2 got a 68 on Metacritic, that they're both the same. And since and he's saying that means that 68 is the new 88, which makes both great.
No, 60. You know how that works, and whoever wrote that is kind of silly. That works if State of Decay is and it does insane and has a 68 score.
Yeah, I don't think he understands that.
Yeah, when it starts making, because it's more common in movies to have a film that doesn't have a high rating to get, to make obviously millions and millions of dollars, because unlike video games, unlike video games, movies aren't really totally dependent on the reviews. That's why you have stuff. I mean, if you go back to the classic, to films that were considered classic, like Predator and RoboCop, you look at a lot of those films that everybody totes as masterpieces or amazing films. They often didn't have great ratings.
Yeah. By the way, Mandy, the same thing's actually happening to games right now. Reviews are kind of becoming irrelevant. Like look at Far Cry. After all that backlash, the game still sold a shit ton.
Yeah, I mean the thing
same
is,
thing. And Kingdom Come Deliverance. That game was smeared to high hell. It sold really, really well for and that was a Kickstarter game.
But I think the other thing that happens with it is that because nowadays also your experience on a game is not even really the consistent from day 1 to day 200. You could have 1,000 updates and you totally just switched the game around and turned it around, and word of mouth helped it from the last part of it.
Yeah.
By the way, the user score for State of Decay 2 is a 5.3 and Infinity War is an 8.6.
Oh shit.
There's a huge discrepancy there too.
I don't know. I still think comparing a movie score to a game score is kind of stupid.
Yeah, because I mean, in general, movie critics are more stingy about their shit. Like it's like, oh, it's like just because Infinity War is a comic book movie, they're automatically gonna give that, like, not even gonna give it a super high score.
Yeah.
That could have happened with State of Decay. We don't like zombie games.
Maybe.
Media biased.
Well, they did say it was media biased, though.
Oh, okay.
Of course they did. You know how that goes. All right, man. A couple of things here. Actually, just one thing. So, yeah, next week we're going to have our pre-E3 special for Throwdown Your Questions. So we need you to submit nothing but E3-related questions. That's going to be those shows. So the other type of questions you may have, save that for like another time, basically. But yeah, E3 questions, and we're going to remind you again during Throwdown this Thursday. We actually have it planned in advance. Actually, no, we don't. This is an inside joke. Brian, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, man. So, yep, let's end it right here. So, oh, shit, I fucked up. Didn't I? Where's our little thing here? Here we go. All right. So, thank you for watching and listening. Leave us a questions in the comment section of this episode here on YouTube or over on the Coalition. We'll answer them on next week's show. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Mixer, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco. Tenacion by Emilio Lopez.
Batman.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
See you, party people.
Adam Vale.
Enjoy tomorrow off, Memorial Day.
And Brian Manjoma.
I'm still perplexed that people have a problem with a woman on a game cover. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, silliness. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday, man. Peace out.
It is.
Laters.
Peace.